Here's everything you need to know about sending an email confirmation email when you sign up a user through your Bubble app. But first of all, let's consider some reasons why you might want to do this. One is to check their identity. Are they really the person behind the email that they've used to sign up? And this can be used as one way to try and combat people from signing up with multiple accounts and fake email addresses. Now, do remember that there is basically a infinite alias hack with Gmail. We've got a video on that. So it's not a surefire way, apart from, say, running some sort of ID check, which there are third-party services that would do that. That would make sure that only one person per one user in your Bubble app. But let's just examine here what we've got, and we'll walk through every step and I'll explain it as we go. We've got a registration form here. It's rough, it's not beautiful, but if I click into the workflow, we can see that we log the user in. Now, this is from a previous demo of mine, so let me just delete these extra steps because we don't log them in, we register them. So let's set that up instead. We go account, sign user up, match up the fields. Okay, and here is the first main bit. You can say send an email to confirm the email, and you can just tick that box. Now, this is the first bit, because don't create your own front-end workflow that generates a code, because that is terrible security. Remember, if you generate something random in a front-end workflow, technically your user with the right technical skills would be able to see that, because you should consider anything that goes into a front-end workflow, or at least 99% of the time what goes into a front-end workflow, you should consider that accessible to your users. So I've seen it done plenty of times. People generate a verification code and they send it all from the front end. That's not a secure way to verify, because the code could be accessible to your users. So it's always better if Bubble provides a way to do it and it works fine. Don't build it yourself, just rely on what Bubble's got. So we can say send an email to confirm the email, and then we choose a page. And do I have like a dashboard page? Yeah, dashboard page. So this is saying when the user receives the email, they will arrive on this page if they click through and they confirm it. Now, let's talk about some other aspects. For example, how do we know if a user has confirmed their email? Well, if we go into data and go down to user, now this is just a demo app that I've recorded hundreds of Bubble tutorial videos with, so there's lots of data in here. And if you want to access the hundreds of Bubble tutorial videos and courses, click the link down in the description, because we've got a wealth of resources for people who are building Bubble apps on our website, planetnocode.com. But if we go across the user now, these, like I say, are from previous demos. There isn't an email confirmation field. I don't need to create one. In fact, if I create one, it's probably going to cause confusion, because as well as these default built-in fields, you may have noticed if you've installed the Stripe plugin, for example, the Bubble official one, is that you get extra fields added in. So if I go to current user and then scroll down, I have this field, email confirmed. Now, I can't see that here, but it is there because it's a built-in Bubble feature. So if I wanted to kick a user off a page, for example, I don't know what's on this, but we go to a dashboard page, yeah, members only, I can have user is logged out, kick them to index, but I could also have, well, it would probably be user is logged out. Well, basically, I could just add in another workflow. So I'm just wondering what the best way to do this. Well, if they're logged in, they could probably still load the page, but we just want to kick them out. So one way of doing that would be to say page is loaded, current user, email is confirmed is no, and then we would kick them back to the, so go to page, and we kick them back to index. Okay, so that's the way of handling the data. So if we go back to the workflow, when the user clicks the link in the email that Bubble sends them, they will get taken to the dashboard. That no field, the email confirmed, will turn to yes, and then you could allow them access to certain parts of your website. Now, there's an important step here, which is that we're not giving the user any feedback. They click register, and so far nothing happens. So here are some important steps that I'd recommend. Mainly that I'm using shift to select, in fact, we'll just use this whole block. So we've got a group here, and I'll call this one step 1. because we just want to hide the form to stop them filling it in more than once, and instead show them a message saying, please check your emails, confirm your email address. So let's go ahead and add in a new group, drag it in. I'm going to center this. I'm just going to hide this group so it's easier to work with. And you would make this look good, but I'm just giving you the bare basics so that I can add a workflow in. I'd say check your inbox and confirm your email to continue. Okay, because you don't want to take them anywhere after they've registered. You want to confirm their email address as soon as you can with just their core details like name, email address and password, because it's your way, like I said at the top of this video, of weeding out people who may be spamming your service with fake accounts. So you do it early, and you don't actually want to send your user here to any other part of your app because you don't want them to move on to any further steps until they have confirmed their identity, well, match the user to that email address through an email confirmation. So what I can now do here, hide that, get this. Just say that this is something like that. Okay, and so what I would do is on my register workflow, and let's rename this so that it's really clear. Step 2 is that I want to hide step 1. Step 2 should not be visible on page load, should collapse when hidden. So on my step 1, now if you have multiple steps you could use custom states, but we're just hiding and showing one thing. So let's add in the hide, swap those around, maybe that is necessary, maybe it isn't. So hide step 1, show step 2. So now what that's going to do is that when the user clicks register, they're going to lose the form, but they're going to gain the message. Those are the steps that I think are required. Oh, one final thing is that you can, if you're sick of SendGrid and the limitations of the Bubble API integration in with SendGrid, you can of course use any third-party email API. We like using Postmark, but loads have come onto the market. Loops is another. For example, we've got videos on each of these. You can send the email in your own controlled template. So I think instead of saying send email confirmation like that, you would add in the step send email confirmation. Again, choose your dashboard page, and you would say just make the token. And then if I've got any plugins, email plugins, if I've got a Postmark one here, or I've got loops. Okay, look, I've got a loops email here. So I've set all this up through the Bubble API connector, but I can now, this is not the way to do it, but I'll just show you roughly where things go. You can say the result of, now I would just check that, but I think that is now a full URL, but test it, look into the email logs. That is the link that your users would click. Now it does say it's the token, maybe it's just the token, in which case do double check the Bubble documentation. But that's how you would go about not having Bubble send the email confirmation using SendGrid, using the SendGrid API key you put into your settings tab. That's how you would go about sending an email, which you could have a much more beautiful styling with templating, custom buttons, that sort of thing. You would use the step here to say just make the token, don't send the email. And that's the same with password reset too. You can take the important link out of the action and pass it in to your own send email action that you set up with the API connector. So there we go, that's a quick overview of how email confirmation works in Bubble. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment down below.